Life of Reilly by Rick Reilly, published in the ESPN The Magazine, December 23rd, 2008. They played the oddest game of high school football history last month down in Grapevine, Texas. It was Grapevine Faith versus Gainesville State School, and everything about it was upside down. For instance, when Gainesville came out to take the field, the Faith fans made a 40-yard spirit line for them to run through. Do you hear that? The other team's fans. They even made a banner for players to crash through at the end. It said, "Go Tornadoes," which is also weird because Faith is the Lions. Wouldn't expect another parent to tell somebody to hit their kids, but they wanted us to. It was rivers running uphill and cats petting dogs. More than 200 Faith fans sat on the Gainesville side and kept cheering the Gainesville players on, by name. I never in my life thought I'd hear people cheering for us to hit their kids, recalls Gainesville's quarterback and middle linebacker Isaiah. Wouldn't expect another parent to tell somebody to hit their kids, but they wanted us to. And even though Faith walloped them 33-14, the Gainesville kids were so happy that after the game they gave head coach Mark Williams a sideline squirt bottle shower like he'd just won state. Gotta be the first Gatorade bath in history for an 0-9 coach. But then you saw the 12 uniformed officers escorting the 14 Gainesville players off the field, and 2 and 2 started to make 4. They lined the players up in groups of 5, handcuffs ready in their back pockets, and marched them to the team bus. That's because Gainesville is a maximum security correctional facility 75 miles north of Dallas. Every game it plays is on the road. This all started when Faith's head coach, Chris Hogan, wanted to do something kind for the Gainesville team. Faith had never played Gainesville, but he already knew the score. After all, Faith was 7-2 going into the game. Gainesville 0-8 with 2 touchdowns all year. Faith has 70 kids, 11 coaches, the latest equipment, and involved parents. Gainesville has a lot of kids with convictions for drugs, assault, and robbery, many of whose families had disowned them, wearing 7-year-old shoulder pads and ancient helmets. So Hogan had this idea. What if half our fans, for one night only, cheered for the other team? He sent out an email asking the faithful to do just that. "Here's the message I want you to send," Hogan wrote. "You are just as valuable as any other person on planet Earth." Some people were naturally confused. One Faith player walked into Hogan's office and asked, "Coach, why are we doing this?" And Hogan said, "Imagine if you didn't have a home life. Imagine if everybody had pretty much given up on you. Now imagine what it would mean for hundreds of people to suddenly believe in you." Next thing you know, the Gainesville Tornadoes were turning around on their bench to see something they had never had before. Hundreds of fans. And actual cheerleaders. "I thought maybe they were confused," said Alex, a Gainesville lineman. Only first names are released by the prison. "They started yelling, 'Defense!' when their team had the ball." I said, "What? Why are they cheering for us?" It was a strange experience for boys, who most people cross the street to avoid. "We can tell people are a little afraid of us when we come to the games," says Gerald, a lineman who will wind up doing more than 3 years. "You can see it in their eyes. They're looking at us like we're criminals. But these people, they were yelling for us, by our names." Maybe it figures that Gainesville played better than it had all season, scoring the game's last 2 touchdowns. Of course, this might be because Hogan put his third-string nose guard at safety and his third-string cornerback at defensive end. Still. After the game, both teams gathered in the middle of the field to pray, and that's when Isaiah surprised everybody by asking to lead. "We had no idea what the kid was going to say," remembers Coach Hogan. But Isaiah said this, "Lord, I don't know how this happened, so I don't know how to say thank you. But I never would have known there were so many people in the world that cared about us." It was a good thing everybody's heads were bowed, because they might have seen Hogan wiping away tears. As the Tornadoes walked back to their bus, under guard, they each were handed a bag for the ride home. A burger, some fries, a soda, some candy, a Bible, and an encouraging letter from a Faith player. The Gainesville coach saw Hogan, grabbed him hard by the shoulders, and said, "You'll never know what your people did for these kids tonight. You'll never, ever know." And as the bus pulled away, all the Gainesville players crammed to one side and pressed their hands to the window, staring at these people they'd never met before, watching their waves and smiles disappearing into the night. Anyway, with the economy 6 feet under and Christmas running on about 3.5 reindeer, It's nice to know that one of the best presents you can give is still absolutely free. Hope.